back to the bottom, 6 to go.
Makes a mistake again. He missed a shift. He's going to spin to the inside turn. He's going to take the lead.
Eli Hinton just got used up there in the hairpin. He's going to pick up a win after a long winless streak and visit victory lane. And the whole field just needs to get himself slowed down, hop these curves, up and over. There's that cannon running a 10. Great restart here for the 2 car, but also for the 48. He crosses him over, down into turn 1, there goes the tail. Here comes the 20 alongside. The 13 car gets turned. He's going to spin in turn 2.
The 3-Wide Racing League season may have only just begun a couple weeks ago, but it's time now for the 2019 3-Wide Racing League All-Star Race. My name's Kyle Heyer alongside Finian DeCuna and Sam Close for the first of several heat races this evening. Welcome, Sam. Of course, I need to quickly just let everyone know that my voice is completely shot after being at the Salem 6 Hours of the Glen this weekend, so I'm going to try not to do too much talking tonight. But Sam, welcome to the booth. Going to be a fun one tonight with super late models at Southern National Motorsports Park. Absolutely, and of course, Finian, tonight 30-lap heats, and then the top 15 drivers will compete in I believe it's a 50-lap race this evening to set the grid for tomorrow night's race. And if you could quickly explain the whole reason why we're racing this evening to set ourselves up for tomorrow.
That will come into play, but we'll explain that toward when we start the final race tonight. But yes, first of all, heat race, 9 cars on the grid here. Only 5 of them will move on.
Yeah, so it's going to be kind of a tight race here at the beginning, especially because this racetrack is very, very tiny. And it's pretty tight corners here as well. So you're going to be beating and banging. These super late model race cars can take a little bit of banging, but they're also some of the quickest short track race cars that you can race here in the iRacing service. And I love this number 61 Robert Hill Jr.'s car, a Tesla. I really, really enjoy that.
Yeah, so definitely he's got a gasoline-powered engine. I would imagine if he had an electric engine, yeah, that would be kind of interesting actually to see how that would play out. But yeah, gasoline-powered car under there, 9 of them ready to go here. I'm kind of curious how this race is going to play out. It's going to be a very short race for these guys, and they can't really afford to get knocked out. You want to have your car running till the end.
Again, so it's only a field of 9 cars, so Sam, you don't really have to push the issue too much here early because you can't really get yourself deep in the field when there's only 9 cars. But how do you balance the aggression? And it's only a 30-lap race. It's going to go pretty quickly once we go green. So if you're starting at the back, how hard do you push to get to the front?
It's going to be really tough because, as I found out in practice, you kind of got to back the corner up. It's easy in, hard off type track. You really try to straighten out that exit. And so really to make a pass, guys are going to either have to wait for a mistake or hope that they can just outbrake the person in front of them enough to get in the bottom and still make the corner.
So field rolling off for 2 pace laps before we go green here at Southern National Motorsports Park. Finian, look at all the marbles in that outside groove. I think you're going to be tucked along the bottom tonight, but if anyone gets up high, they're probably going to go for a little bit of a ride.
Yeah, we started this track with high usage, and also Levi Zielinski opting for the outside lane after qualifying on pole, so interesting choice there.
Really short track here, pretty high banking for a track this size. Fun-looking race cars out there, some great-looking liveries as we get the 1 to green to go racing for the first of several heats tonight. 30 laps on the board for this first one. And it begins in just a moment with the 6 car. Levi Zielinski on the outside lane has had a pretty good start to the season in the Cup Series and the Truck Series. The 61 of Robert Hill Jr. has already won a Truck Series race back at Watkins Glen in week number 3 of the season, starting with that number 61 Mike's Hard Limit on the inside lane. Field rolls out at turn number 4. Green flag flies, racing for the 2019 All-Star Heats.
Yeah, here comes Zielinski. So Zielinski easily going to take the lead. Robert Hill Jr. trying to follow him behind. Corey Lindsay fighting with the 15 on the outside.
Yeah, Chad Frankenfield looking the inside lane now of Corey Lindsay. And Sam, I would assume that the outside lane, there's not really a whole lot up there, but what have you experienced so far in practice?
Yeah, there's not much going on the outside lane. You really need to be on the bottom to roll through the middle of the. Really, if you're up there, it's because you're sliding up there, or because somebody got positioned underneath you.
Yeah, Josh Adams looks like he's going to get on through Corey Lindsay. Now, right behind Lindsay, here comes the 12 of Cody McCorkle to the inside.
Yeah, I need to see Corey fight for the spot here. He needs to stay in that 5th position and move.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to try to continue to move on. So everyone looks like they're sorted out. Austin Derbyshire in behind the 12. And currently a guy on the bubble, Corey Lindsay, sitting in 5th. So he's the last guy making it through at the moment. So a lot of guys behind him trying to fight their way through. We'll see if McCorkle can do anything.
Already the brakes glowing on these race cars as they complete lap number 5. You're wearing and tearing your equipment up isn't really going to matter so much in races that are this short. So you're going to go all out from the very beginning. But Robert Hill Jr. trying to get back up behind that 6th Levi Zielinski, pushing hard, but not able to make up a whole lot of ground.
Yeah, he's trying to push up hard. Zielinski, putting up a fight here. He's keeping that 61 at bay. We'll see if Hill does anything. Oh, and he's looking all over the track, and Zielinski cutting him off.
Oh, we got one in the wall in the background. I'm having some issues with ATV at the moment. It's really lagging very bad, and I don't know why, so I'll have to figure that out before race number 2. But for the top spot, it's the 6 and the 61, nose to tail, 0.3 of a second separate them as we close in on the 3rd mark. Again, short races, only 5 minutes left if we go green from here.
Again, it's going to be really easy to get to the back of that 6 car, but it's going to be really difficult to get.
Yeah, and a caution out for the 12 of Cody McCorkle.
I didn't see what happened here, but he's in this Bojangles number 12 Charger, and we'll try to see if we can get a look at exactly what triggered this yellow. Actually, I need to restart this. I don't know what's going on with the ticker software tonight, but it's being very finicky. I'm going to give it a quick restart here, hopefully before the race restarts.
It looks like the 12 got in on the outside of Corey, and they made contact in the middle of, let's see, is that 1 and 2, I think? Yeah, they made contact in the middle of 1 and 2.
Yeah, and that sent the 12 of McCorkle around. It looks like his car is all right, other than some damage to the right side. So he will continue on, albeit in last and 8th. Or sorry, not in last. He'll be in 8th place, second to last. So that puts him back a few spots. He was fighting for that transfer spot with Lindsay, so now he won't be able to do that. He's going to have to make up a few spots to get up to him. So I think we're at 2 to green.
Yep, I'm working on getting the graphics package back up. I'm not sure if this is going to be a recurring issue tonight. I don't know why that would be the case, but if it is, I'll have to come up with a better solution for the feature event tonight as we conclude lap number 11 and get tickers back up. Let's try this again as we are under caution at the moment. I think that is 2 to green this time through, but Zielinski has led the lap so far. Robert Hill Jr. trying to put pressure on him in that black and pink number 61. Of course, Chad Frankenfield sitting 3rd. Fitting, he's a great road course driver. How about his short track experience? Do you think he's got enough? He's got some right front damage on that car. Do you think he's got enough to go after the 61 and the 6?
I think so. I mean, qualified pretty decently, up in 3rd, running in 3rd. So I definitely think also of anything on the ovals, I think the road course experience transfers best on the short course, on the short ovals, on short tracks. So I think definitely Frankfield's got something left to see. I'm more curious of how he'll do later on tonight if he makes it through. So I'll definitely keep an eye on the 15.
So we got the 1 to green here, or actually. This was actually said it was 1 to green, but it's not, so the cautions come back out. There's something seriously wrong with this right now, Finian. I'm not sure what's up. Give me the 1 to green when it definitely was not, and it's acting all sorts of strange. But there's the 1 to green. Officially.
Yeah, green flag back in the air. Zielinski coming to the line.
I know
He's
why.
going to easily take the lead off into turn 1.
I was going to say, I know why I was still in replay mode. That'll do it. Oh, that's the who's that on the outside? That's the 95 of Josh Adams. Contact with the 15 through the center of 3 and 4.
Yeah, definitely Frankfield trying to work his way on through Adams as well. Meanwhile, Cogswell, Lindsay side by side. Ooh, Chad Brown loose off of turn 3. It's McCorkle.
And Brown slipping and sliding after contact with the 12. And aggression picking up here as we conclude the first half of this race. And up front, I think the aggression is going to continue to pick up. Sam, I mean, if you're Robert Hill Jr. right now, don't you have to push the issue, or is that 6 car just going to be able to drive away?
If you're in the top 5, I don't see why you need to risk your race doing anything stupid. I mean, you're in 2nd place right now. You're in a transfer spot. Why ruin it by taking a huge risk? Now, if he makes a mistake, that's when I would jump on him. But if you're not incredibly faster than him and he's not making any mistakes, I'm not sure I would really push the issue.
Yeah, and I gotta agree with Sam too, especially because this is not just a transfer to the main event tonight. This is a transfer for the main event tomorrow night for the actual All-Star race itself. So you don't want to really get yourself up in too crazy of a scenario. We've seen one guy get knocked out of the way, saw McCorkle go around, so I don't think you want to be the second guy to get knocked out of the way.
Good thing it's about a short track is that if you get knocked out of the way, you're not going to hit anything at any significant speed. But these guys are still carrying about 80 to 90 miles an hour through the middle of the corner, and they're getting to about 110 at the end of the straightaway. So they are carrying some significant speed, even though this is a pretty short track.
Yeah, it's all about rolling the middle here, and the more...
Ooh, Chad Brown. And I think he's going to bring out another caution. He's stuck up on turn 4. Nope. Looks like he's going to exit before.
Let's take a quick look at that replay, see what happened. And it was with the 12 of McCorkle again. These guys have just been all over each other in the last couple of laps. I think the patience has run out. The 64 drove down underneath the 12 and drills him in the door to try to pass him. And that just didn't work out for the 64. And that was really his own fault there.
Yeah, I think McCorkle also very frustrated. I think unless he gets another caution and kind of bunts these guys back up, he's looking at getting sent home for tonight at least. All the guys that are eliminated out of these heat races will get a last chance qualifier tomorrow night, the first event of the evening. So they'll have another shot, but again, I don't think these guys want to be put in that scenario.
Jonathan Cogswell in the 27, he's sitting in the transfer spot at the moment in 5th place. Corey Lindsay just outside of that. But up towards the top spot, Levi Zielinski leads. Robert Hill Jr. sitting nicely in 2nd, but there's only 5 laps to go. Not a whole lot of time left. Now, Sam, we got a bunch of racing to do this next couple days. Is it too early to use a bumper here? If you're Robert Hill Jr., there's really no incentive to necessarily win this race, and you don't want to make enemies early, do you?
No, I don't think you use the bumper right here, because then I think you're getting the bumper back when it comes to the main. That's definitely tit for tat right there. You see Robert Hill, he's kind of charging the entry of the corner a little bit, and Levi's entering a little bit slower. Getting a little bit better exit. There you get.
Big slip by the 6 out of turn 2, and that's going to let the 61 get to the outside. Wasn't able to do it. Able to complete the pass here. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that gives him the lane. It gives him a chance to fight, but no, he's going to get passed by the 6. He's going to get cleared by him, and that pretty much that's Hill's probably only chance they're gone as you come to 2 laps to go.
Yeah, that would have been really, really impressive if he could have made that stick on the outside.
Oh, he's in the fence. The 61 scrapes the wall and tries to dive to the 6, but couldn't quite make it.
Yeah, he's trying to get their white flag in the air for these guys one more lap. Does Hill have anything for Zielinski?
I think Levi's just got to get it around this corner.
And yep, that's all he needs to do. As they come to the checkered, Zielinski's going to win the race. Robert Hill Jr. in 2nd, Chad Frankenfield 3rd, Joshua Adams in 4th, and last but not least, Jonathan Cogswell finished in 5th. And those are the 5 transferring on to the feature race tonight.
Well done by those drivers. Of course, Zielinski leading all those laps, and Jonathan Cogswell making his mark. He'll start in the feature later this evening and set himself up as you see Zielinski doing burnouts on the front straight. Obviously very happy in that Sharpie number 6, celebrating that Dodge Challenger paint scheme. But here's a quick look at your results screen. Of course, Chad Brown DNFing in this race after contact with Cody McCorkle, but neither of those drivers will move on, so really both losers in that situation. All right, so we're going to move on to heat number 2 here in just a couple minutes. I'm actually going to take some time to try to get these graphics packaged together. I don't know what's going on, but we're going to figure it out before race number 2 here in just a few minutes. Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment.
To most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m. The feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist. Born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars. Found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered landing? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
welcome back live to SimTV. I'm Kyle Heyer alongside Finny DeCuna and Kyle Hanshaw now for the second of 3 heats tonight. We're about to get qualifying underway for heat number 2, and my graphics package is working a little bit better now, so let's hope that that hangs on. Finny, in race number 1, we saw Levi Zielinski hold on and lead the entire race. What do you think is going to happen in race 2? More of the same?
I think more of the same. I mean, obviously, it does come down to the drivers and how they pace out, how well they qualify, especially. So I'm expecting to see a lot of stuff pretty similar to the first race. Pretty much being pretty tame in general, especially with the top 5 guys just riding it out to make sure they qualify. We did have a little bit of incidents towards the back around the transfer spot, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see that happen again, because I'm sure a lot of the guys want to be in the show.
One more quick update before I'm going to be quiet for a little bit. As we take a look at, on the left-hand side of your screen, your ticker there, Johnny Thomas. He is driving the number 81 T car. You know what, Finian? It's still lagging. Like, really badly. So I don't know what's going on. I'm going to hope it hangs on a little bit. Oh, now it's good. We're good now. Okay. Something's seriously wrong. But anyway, the 83 of Johnny Thomas is driving the 83 T car. But because I need to be informed what number he's actually running in the sim, that will be corrected for the feature event, but that's why he doesn't have a number listed on your ticker. Meanwhile, Richard Hines goes across the line, and he is your current pole sitter. And Kyle, short track racing, definitely, you're definitely a dirt guy, but short track racing, you got to enjoy it, especially in these cars, huh?
Oh, most definitely. It's such a change in pace, but it feels like, short track racing, you feel like you're home. I love short track racing, and I think majority of the guys in this league also do. Different style of racing, and just fun for the drivers and the fans.
Absolutely. So tonight, again, we have 3 heats. This is the second of 3. 5 drivers will advance. And, of course, Jonathan Cogswell, the 5th driver from race number 1. Finny, looking at the driver list, which driver do you think is going to be the one fighting on that bubble and will finish 5th tonight? Who's your guess?
Let's see. I'm looking at this list. So let's see. We actually only got 7 cars, so a little bit fewer than the last race. So only 2 guys are going to get booted out of this one. I can probably see Nick Miller and Kevin Finn fighting it out. I'm kind of surprised that Thomas is back in 6th. I expected him to be a little bit further up. So I expect he might be fighting for 5th, but I expect him to have a bigger climb up. But again, we'll have to keep an eye on the 83 of Thomas and see his progress forward.
All right, so I'm going to be quiet a little bit because I need to focus on one thing at a time, apparently, tonight. So I'm going to let Kyle Hanshaw and Finny DeCuna take it away from here. And we'll see you. I'll talk to you at the end of the race, hopefully.
Yeah, so so also actually I forgot to mention, so there is an all-star vote, and so people at home, I'll actually put this link in the description here. Or it's not in the description. It's already in the description, but I put it in the chat there. So for any of the people watching, if you want to vote, this will help any driver that gets eliminated tonight or doesn't qualify into the feature race. They can get in through this vote. This will be the last. It's pretty much like the actual NASCAR All-Star race, All-Star vote. Pretty similar to that. So any driver that doesn't make it in, they can get in through that vote. So feel free to take the chance to vote for your favorite driver tonight and whoever you want to vote for to get into the show. But yeah, Kyle, Hanshaw. I'll probably call you Hanshaw to make sure I'm
that's
talking to the right person. Yeah, so well, how much is your experience in the super late model? I have a little bit of experience, but I don't think as much as you. I feel like you probably have more than me.
To be honest, last year when we ran this race was my first and only race in a super late model on asphalt. So not too much experience, but I think I got enough experience to make the main event for this year. So hopefully that goes well. But they're a fun car to drive, to be honest. Kind of hard to see out of, but puts on a hell of a show for sure.
Yeah, definitely puts on a hell of a show. And also, I want to ask you another question. So I know you've been racing around a lot of these guys for a very long time. Who do you think is definitely a guy we should keep our eye on throughout this night and tomorrow night?
I got to look at the guys that have been strong this season so far. It's Frankenfield and Gruenberg for sure. I know Johnny Thomas, he's pretty strong in the super late model here on these short tracks. And definitely Levi Zielinski is another one to watch. But for me tonight, it's just about survival and getting to a transfer spot.
Yeah, we definitely saw that being the case. A lot of the guys are pretty calm. And Robert Hill Jr. was fighting for the win in the first heat, but that was more just, wanting to finish first more than anything. Didn't really force the issue, and I think I expect to see a lot of the same tonight, but qualifying is going to wrap up here, and we're going to have 7 drivers slugging it out for 5 spots. So 2 people are going to be going home. Who's it going to be? We'll find out in 30 laps. All right, so showing the starting lineup here, and we got Cameron Rich starting on pole. Richard Hines with a good effort. He's going to be starting in second place. In behind them, Luis Almaso will be starting in third. Behind him, outside of him, Kevin Finn in the 14 will be starting in fourth. Then back behind him, Nick Miller in the 9 car, Johnny Thomas in the 03. Officially, on the number on the side of his door, he's got the 83T. So we'll keep an eye on that. And rounding out our field will be Frank Sims in the 75. And I think if Frank Sims, too, he's had some pretty good runs as of late in both the Cup Series and I believe in the Truck Series as well. If he can make it into the show, I think that'll be a fantastic run. So we'll see if he can bring a surprise to the table here for this race. But yeah, anyone in your do you see any driver here that kind of stands out in your mind?
Definitely that gentleman that's on the pole right now. I have a feeling that he's going to be very hard to pass tonight here in this heat. I'm trying to look through here. Kevin's pretty good. Hines, if he can get a good run going. Luis will be strong. I don't know. This is a toss-up. You got about 4 or 5 guys that can win this event, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, definitely a stacked field, especially with that 17. I think almost enough needs to be said with the 17 and Cameron Rich. In almost any race he enters, he almost always dominates, or is at least in the top part of the field. And here he is starting on pole, so we'll see how he can do from here. But Pace Car is getting ready to roll off here in a few seconds. We're going to get ready for 30 laps. My curiosity lies with who are the guys that are going to be eliminated. I think some guys we expect might be towards the back, but you never know. All it takes is one wreck, and they could easily knock you out of this event.
Yeah, definitely. With what we saw last year in these preliminary events, is guys get very impatient after battling with such close quarters at this little short track. Definitely gonna have to use the bumper tonight for sure, and patience are definitely gonna get tested.
Yeah, we saw a fairly clean race. Not really many people using the bumpers in these heat races, but I think tonight, when there's a little bit of money on the line, I think definitely bumpers are going to be thrown. So Pacer is going to come around one more lap and going to get ready. 7 cars here and going to get ready to sort it out.
It'll be interesting to see how that outside line can hold up, see if they can get momentum up there and make some runs at the bottom.
Yep, and here they come. Pace car is going to be in. Green flag in the air for 30 laps. Cameron Rich gets a fantastic start. Hines spins his tires. Almost takes out the 4 of Luis Almaso, but he keeps it going. Damage to the nose of Kevin Finn. He goes to the high side. To the inside, here comes Johnny Thomas trying to make up a spot. They're fighting for the transfer spot right now.
Cameron Rich got a huge lead going so far. Yeah, definitely we saw...
Hines gets around. Caution's out.
And they're still locked together.
Yeah, so a lot of chaos already at the start. We saw Hines with that crazy start that he had initially almost caused a caution there. So the two struggling here, and I think he's starting to crab a little bit. Nope, looks like looks like he's good. It looks like he was just having trouble getting up to speed, but definitely a lot of damage to the right side of that car.
Yeah, for sure. We saw that last season in this race. Definitely got to be careful with the wheel spin on starts and restarts. Yeah, that's just unfortunate to happen that early, but I mean, there's plenty of racing left, and we'll see if they can get back.
Yeah, looking back at what happened there, it looked like the 2 of Rich and Hines just thought that he was clear on the 4 and dove it into turn 1, but the 4 Salmas was just there by a nose, and that was enough to hook him around. Unfortunately, no one taken out so far, just a lot of damage to that 2 car and the nose of the 4 Salmas. I'm curious how that's going to affect, because that exposed to the air.
Yeah, I know last year I had some damage in the front and all over the car basically, but it really didn't hurt as much, especially on the short tracks. You don't really get the aero part of it affecting your driving, but definitely something to worry about. And he spun them tires. Definitely. Oh, he looks like he's coming down pit road. Gonna probably get some fresh tires and see if he can make his way up through the field.
And I think he may also try to fix at least some of that damage. It's going to be very hard to, considering how short the pace laps are around here. But I think worth an effort, anything will really help him at this point. And how hard is it to damage the suspension on these cars? Are they pretty resilient, or if you hit them the right angle, will it give you a lot of damage?
I think definitely if you hit them at the right angle, it'll definitely knock the toe out of it and mess up your steering. But I had some issues with it in the past races, and came down pit road, got whatever I could fixed, took 2 tires, whatever. Then the next lap came down, got another set of tires on the other side, and it's just got to do with what you got, and try to get into the transfer spot.
Yep, indeed. And pace car is in, green flag back in the air as Cameron Rich leads him down to the line. He'll go off, and no major mishaps on going into turn 1. Kevin Finn's going to sort himself out into second place. Johnny Thomas all the way up into third after starting in 6th. A good move forward for the 83. Then we got the 9 of Nick Miller and Frank Sims in that transfer start trying to hold off Luis Almaso. And I said it would be a bit of a surprise if the 75 showed up to the show, got in. He's looking like it at the moment.
Yeah, definitely trying to hold him off. You just gotta block the runs whenever he sees Luis coming up, and definitely getting spread out here a little bit, but pretty smooth sailing so far throughout.
Yeah, and it looks like he's doing a great job of holding Almaso off. Again, not sure how the handling in that 4 car is, but I think it's definitely gone off a little bit. Doesn't seem like he's as good on the start, but he is building up some runs to that 75.
Definitely really have to be patient when you get on the throttle here, especially in the corners and stuff. Those little tight quarters there.
Yeah, definitely. So also there he is again. This is for the transfer. Oh, gets into the 75's quarterback, sends him around. No caution out. And
there it is. It's just, the patience, man. Just got to be patient. But, these guys just get impatient, want to test the boundaries, use the bump.
Yeah, again, I think that's Almaso getting a little bit impatient, trying to get himself back in a transfer spot. I don't think he wants to get out this early due to the damage that happened. He sent it in there, and it was very tight between them.
Yeah, and you definitely don't want to rely on the fan vote. Although that is a cool gesture that the league did this year, voting guys that might, you don't know if you're going to get in trouble and, be out for your heat race and stuff, so you can hopefully maybe get voted in. But I mean, that was a cool little thing they got going for this All-Star.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing too. You don't want to really rely on that, because more or less that is kind of just random and up to chance. Anyone could vote any which way, so you don't want to entirely rely on that. And also, I mean, the only other chance you got is the last chance qualifier, and again, that's just putting it up. So you want to try to get in as early as you can, as quick as you can. Currently, Almaso is going to be holding on to that spot, and I wonder, is Frank Sims sitting behind? He's right in behind the 4 if he wanted to. You could easily give him back karma. So that's the risk you play with using the bumpers early. You can easily get it back to you.
Definitely, for sure. But, I mean, he's right there. If Luis has, a hiccup in one of the corners, he could definitely easily get under him. But, just you don't forget about this stuff. So it's going to be in the back of it.
Oh, apparently hearing that 17's got damage. I don't see anything on his car. Yeah, I don't see anything. So apparently on Kyle's end, he's getting, or higher, he's getting damage on his end. His car looks squeaky clean to me.
Yeah, I don't see any damage on the car, so he's looking pretty good so far.
Yeah, so we'll see if that'll affect him. I don't think it would. And as we're coming around, pace car's going to come around. I think we're going to have about 12 laps to go left in this race. So time is starting to run out, laps starting to run out, especially for that transfer spot, heating up between Salmaso and Frank Sims. Everyone else seems to be pretty good on pace. Pace car is going to go off, and green flag immediately for Cameron Rich as he jumps on the start, and then Kevin Finn going to duck in behind for second place as he did on the first start. But here comes Salmaso to the inside of Nick Miller. He gets around him, and Nick Miller gets put on the back foot.
Yeah, Salmaso's clawing his way through the field. Definitely sitting pretty so far. We're going to see that transfer spot's going to be heating up here soon. Hines is on fresher tires, but I think he's a lap down. Yeah, we'll just see what happens here these last couple laps.
Yeah, and Hines is a lap down, so he's kind of pretty much out of it unless people rack out completely and retire. He's all he's hoping for is he goes to the inside of Frank Sims, and Sims can't let him do this because that's going to put him out of a spot of fighting for it. But Hines is going to get around the 75 and move himself out of the way, so not a pass for position, but that's going to hurt Sims' chances of getting around Nick Miller for that spot. And looking back up at second place, Kevin Finn holding off Johnny Thomas pretty well at the moment, but Thomas looks to be probably one of the fastest cars on the track at the moment.
Yeah, he's definitely looking strong in this heat event. Definitely want to roll those corners as best as you can. Don't want to overdrive because you'll just push up into the outside wall, but definitely looking smooth so far. And Cameron Rich has checked out to a huge lead.
Yeah, Cameron just pretty much checked out. I mean, look at that pace. I mean, that's amazing. Almost a straightaway here in a few laps, his lead. So that 17 going to have to keep an eye on him for the rest of the night as we go on to the feature race of the night. And Kevin Finn, again, doing a great job holding off the 83. And here comes Salmaso with all the damage. I thought he was kind of done for, looking to be off the pace, but he still got it with a damaged car. So Salmaso looking to be a threat as well. Still looking back at second place, this is the closest battle on the track between drivers, and I think again these guys probably aren't going to do much. Not really any incentive to do anything. You're just kind of putting yourself in a dangerous situation. So I think for the most part might end up with the sort of. We'll see if Thomas has anything in these last few laps.
Yeah, I see him trying to creep to the inside of Kevin there, but I mean, I don't think you should really push the issue. I mean, you're sitting good right now and gonna get a top 3 out of this heat event, hopefully. But yeah, Luis is trying to get up there and have something for the 83. He might, but most likely not gonna happen.
Yeah, now to turn 4, Cameron Rich is going to see the white flag in the air. He's got a humongous lead over everyone else as everyone else comes through to collect the white flag as well. And how about Cameron Rich? Haven't really said much about him because he's just been up leading the race by a significant margin. Out of turn 4, he will collect the checkered flag and win this second heat race. Kevin Finn in second, Johnny Thomas third, Luis Salmaso fourth, and rounding out our transfer drivers will be the 9 of Nick Miller. So those 5 drivers will move on. Unfortunately, Frank Sims and Richard Hines will not be moving on, and they'll have a last chance qualifier tomorrow night to get themselves in.
Well, thanks, guys, for taking over for a little bit, but let's take a look at your results. Of course, the 17 of Cameron Rich pretty much dominating that event. Kevin Finn running second in the number 14 transfer position for Nick Miller in the number 9. He moves on. Frank Sims, though, guys, after getting turned by the 4 Luis Salmaso, I'm sure he's not pretty thrilled that he's got bumped out and finished 6th in that race. So moving on to race number 3 here in just a couple minutes. And it'll be the final heat race before our 50-lap feature event that'll set the grid for tomorrow's event tomorrow evening at the same time. So we'll see you in just a couple minutes. We'll be right back for race number 3. Welcome back to the 2019 Three-Wide Racing League All-Star Race. This is the third of 3 heats tonight as we conclude qualifying at the moment. Here's a look at your timing and scoring. Chuck Sweeting at the top of the board right now. Richard Lafferty, Tate Lytle, Sam Close, Paul Ross, Dave Hunt, Mike Stevens, Wade Lear, and Kyle Hanshaw, all competing for 5 transfer spots into the 50-lap main event. Take a look at the ticker has been changed to the Race Kings Cup Series ticker, as I think this one is going to perform a little bit better, so hopefully we won't have any more technical issues as we gear up for this 30-lap feature event. I'm going to shut up. I'll leave it right back to Finian, and now we're going to welcome in Chad Frankenfield, who's been very successful this year in both the Cup and the Truck Series. Chad, welcome to the booth.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. This is going to be exciting. See what you guys do weekly here.
Yeah, indeed. And we saw that you had a pretty good run in heat number 1, I believe it was, right?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah,
I started to figure it out there as the heat went on. I didn't get a lot of practice, as I was telling you. I can barely see out of one eye right now, so I'm doing the best I can. But yeah, I figured it out a little bit, and it's a really cool track. I'm not gonna lie, it's a really fun track.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, from what you've experienced in that first heat, of the racing around the guys, being pretty much the first guys to get out there on the track, how's the car feeling, and how confident are you feeling for the feature race coming up tonight?
I feel better. I really do. I think, I think it's just a question of restarts, because I think everybody's just so tight. I mean, there's probably about 10 drivers really close together. If the car's feeling tight and pushy, if you see a guy pushing off the corners, he's really not running the corner very well. If you see the back end slide a little bit, it's actually a good thing. That means he really got the bottom of the hook. Based on what I saw in that heat, Levi and Robert were really making a lot of time up in the early in the heat, and I was pushing real bad. And I figured out to just let off a little earlier and roll the center. And once I was able to do that, I started to make a little bit of time up. But yeah, it should be exciting. There's some heavy hitters in this heat, so.
Yeah, definitely some heavy hitters, also well as 2 guys that were previously in the booth, Sam Close and Kyle Hanshaw. Close currently qualified in 4th. Hanshaw will be rounding out the field in 9th. So he's going to have a little bit of work to do to move up. Remember, only the top 5 will move on. So currently, Sweeting, Lafferty, Lytle, Close, and Ross will occupy the spots. But again, 30 laps. You have 30 laps left to go. And we've seen, for the most part, of the top 5 pretty orderly. Nothing really going on there. But the transfer spot seems to be where all hell is breaking loose. So are you a little bit surprised with that, Frankfield, or do you think that's perfectly what we should expect?
Oh, I mean, that's what you're going to get. I think if you can qualify top 3, you can stay up in top 3, you'll be all right. I think 4th through the back of the field is where you really want to watch. I mean, I know from going to a local dirt track on a Saturday night, you really don't care about who's leading the heats. Your eyes are focused on those transfer spots, because that's where you really see some cool racing. There's definitely some guys in here I think are going to shake it up, though, based on who's where. This should be a good one.
Yep, starting lineup. We're going to take a look at that as Chuck Sweeting's going to be starting on pole. He's going to be taking the outside lane here. And Richard Lafferty will be on the inside of him in 2nd place. Moving on back to row number 2, we got Tate Lytle in the 56 in 3rd. And then outside of him, Sam Close will be starting in 4th. And behind him, Paul Ross will be starting 5th on the inside of row number 3. Outside of him, Dave Hunt in the 53. Then behind them, Mike Stevens will be starting in 7th. Outside of him, we Wade Lear in the 11th car. And then last but certainly not least, Kyle Hanshaw, who's looks like his internet's kind of betraying him just a little bit, at least if he's flashing a bit. He will be rounding out our field of 9. So we're going to get ready here as these guys are on the back straightaway. 30 laps left in this 3rd and final heat. After this, we'll have the main event for tonight. Pace car will pull off. Chuck Sweeting will lead the field down. Green flag in the air here at Southern National. Yep, and Sweeting there will go down to the inside in turn 1. Outside
right away, you got an accordion effect there.
Yeah, and in the back, I see Dave Hunt in the wall as well as Wade Lear. They're both scraping the wall. They're going to immediately go to the back, so some time to make up there. Meanwhile, back up at the front, Sam Close is trying to hold off Richard Lafferty for 2nd place. And looking at that transfer spot, it's starting to heat up as Paul Ross is currently in 5th. We got Dave Hunt 6th, Wade Lear in 7th.
Yeah, the 18 looks just like he's rolling the center really well. And it looks like the guys behind him are struggling there a little bit. Paul's a guy who's really, really tough to beat. He's very smooth. Was able to run wheel to wheel with him a little bit in the tag, and he's just a guy that really hits his spot. So it's going to be tough for anybody behind him to get by. That's for sure.
Yeah, and there you see. Oh, and Wade Lear out in the back. Looks like he had a little bit of an incident, was loose and sideways. And he had some help actually from the 46 of Kyle Hanshaw, and both of them are running nose to tail. So that might get a little bit spicy between them. But up towards the front, some battling going on between Lyle Lafferty and Paul Ross.
Yeah, so these guys got to watch, especially Paul. You got to watch, because if you start battling here with Richard, you're going to really start bringing Dave back into this battle here. It's really a question how creative you want to get here. Do you want to try to get a higher spot for the dash later, or do you want to just run it out here to make the feature? Looks like these guys singled out a little bit, though, which is probably a better idea for Paul at this point.
Yeah, and so if you're in Paul's situation, you're in fifth, you're going to be making this show, but do you want to try to get fourth to kind of make sure you're more secure with that spot, or is fifth place good enough for you?
I would honestly want to try to maybe get one more spot. I noticed on the restarts, if the guy, that outside line, especially if the leader takes the outside really is a good jump. So I would try to get one more spot just to get fourth, but really at that point, I mean, you're really not gaining a big advantage as far as the feature is concerned going to dash tonight. But you might want to start getting it going here a little bit. It seems like Dave is starting to pick up some time here.
Yeah, Dave has picked up quite a bit of time. He's been running almost a tenth faster than Paul Ross every single lap. And there you see on the screen, he's caught up right up to the 18th bumper here. And will this 53 get a little bit physical here as we're coming to lap 12?
Yeah, we'll see. I think the best bet for him right now is to just ride his footprints here. Try not to do anything crazy. You got lots of race left. Especially if you can get a restart here. He'll be up on the outside. It's going to be tough to beat a guy on the outside when he's doing restarts. But I would wait maybe to try to see if he can slip up a little bit before you get real aggressive.
Yeah, we do have quite a few laps left to go as Paul Ross is trying to get to the inside of the 8 of Richard Lafferty. Lafferty going to be stuck on the outside lane. We'll see if Paul Ross can do it. Lafferty, though, loose off the corner, so he's struggling for grip.
Yeah, like I said, if you could get to the bottom, that's going to help. But the way that the setup is, I don't know if you'll be able to hold the outside line and really defend well. So if you can get to the bottom of somebody, it's going to be hard for that guy up top to defend. But it seems like Lafferty now is in fifth. He's in the transfer spot. So this might be a little bit better situation for Dave as Paul pulls away a little bit here.
Yeah, and up towards the front, the leader is getting by the lap car of Mike Stevens. He'll be put one lap down, currently running in ninth in last place. So the top three also all close together, Sweeting, Sam Close, and Tate Lytle. So all three have kind of bunched up. Then we got the second group of three, Ross Lafferty and Dave Hunt.
I'm seeing with the 8 car, especially his entry starting to go up a little bit. So I'm wondering if the tire wear is really starting to affect him as he goes to the inside here. But like I said, you'll see here, it's going to be hard for him to defend on the outside where this setup is.
Yeah, and Hardin Diaz, he's going to have to let that 53 on by on the inside. That inside definitely looking to be strong. Pretty much outside having nothing. Here's Lafferty riding the 53. I'm curious, when is he going to give the bumper?
So if I'm Lafferty right now, I wouldn't doubt it. I would probably, knowing that you're struggling here under braking, because if he starts pulling away here, you're really going to minimize the ability for you to get him later on in the race. I would be aggressive here. But like I said, I think he's struggling right now with the tires.
Yeah, definitely starting to fall off pace, and we saw that Ross was able to get around him, and pretty much after that has been kind of losing some ground. We saw Dave Hunt easily make his pass through, and it looks like Lafferty has got no answer 53. He's loose off of 4. Top 3, so after that battle's kind of subsided, going back up to the top 3, these guys are all nose to tail. Whoa, that 5 is Sam Close very loose as he tries to get to the inside of Chuck Sweeting.
Yeah, these guys got to watch. They got to be real smart here. They got to understand that they are pretty much locking themselves in with this gap. Don't do anything too stupid. But you also want to try to get a better spot in that dash tonight. There's some money on the line, so anytime there's money on the line, you got to expect guys to go a little bit crazier. I think you'll see the bumper potential used here as these laps start ticking away.
Yeah, I noticed Lytle's been getting very close to the back bumper of the 5. Yeah, again, this is where you gotta fight that urge as a race car driver to try to win everything that you're in, and also think more common sense, think that all these guys are locked into the next spin. This is all for naught other than really a spot. So these guys are trying to sort it out, but Lytle running a little bit higher than Sam Golds. Looks like he's trying to make that middle lane work.
Yeah, I hope we can get the middle lane to work a little bit. See, that's what I'm talking about. You don't want to be too aggressive because you don't want him to spin across your nose, and then you're caught in the back of the field here.
Yeah,
if I'm either of these guys right now, if I'm the 5, I let T go, just because he's all over the rear bumper.
Yeah, and I mean, Lytle looks like he really wants to spot and set the 5 a little bit loose there, as you saw. And it's close, though, not giving up that spot either. So these guys both going in as we're coming now to 2 laps to go this time through. Are any of these guys going to try anything that they might regret? Let's see here. Yeah, this is pretty much the closest battle on the track at the moment. And it looks like Lytle, he's running really high here. He's going to set up a run on the straightaway. Here they come. White flag in the air for these guys, tracking loose off turn 4.
Yeah, that 5, I think, is starting to really get the middle hook. We'll see here in turn 3.
Yeah, we'll see here in turn 3. Looks like someone had an incident in turn 3 before them, but it's not going to matter. Out of turn 4, Chuck Sweeting is going to come across the line first. Sam Close in second. Tate Lytle in third. Paul Ross in fourth. And Dave Hunt will round out our top 5 and the 5 drivers that will transfer on tonight. Richard Lafferty, Wade Lyric, Hal Hanshaw, and Mike Stevens, as 63 and the 46 makes a major contact, they are going to be eliminated for now. They'll have another shot tomorrow to get into the main feature race tomorrow night. All right, so as you can see the results screen there, as we finish the final heat, we're getting ready for the trophy dash. Some money on the line, and we'll explain more when we come back from break, but that's going to be all for now. Stay tuned, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
most, driving is just a mundane task between point A and point B. Nothing more. It's the frustration of traffic at 8 a.m., the feeling of sickness on a long ride. The car? Just a tool. It's supposed to be practical, reliable, and fast. But the speed is really the reason cars exist, born out of a necessity to make that A to B trip just a little bit faster. Some have a deeper connection with cars, found somewhere in the bond of man and machine, a desire to be part of something bigger than yourself. It's the extension of mind and body to something more exciting than just another appliance. And these people never cared about practicality or reliability. To them, the only thing that matters is speed. We're born with a competitive nature, part of a biological necessity that has not yet worn off with time. People have raced for thousands of years, and that competition has transcended history and found its way to the industrial age. Railroads raced to build across the country, replacing the horses whose strength is still used as a benchmark for power today. And as personal vehicles became popular, the railroads died off. What once was the quickest way across the country became snail's pace in comparison. The interstate highway system expanded and cars populated every driveway. And the competition between types of transport quickly transitioned into the race to have the fastest car. Bragging rights. Manufacturers like Porsche, Ferrari, and BMW emerged in auto racing, each trying to one-up the other. Building engines became an arms race. Who could build the fastest dinosaur-powered Landsat? So while the passion for cars has died for most, there are still people that are fascinated by racing. The sights, the sounds, the smell of burning rubber and spent race fuel lingering in the air, this is what attracts us to the sport of auto racing. We are empowered by drivers that climb in impossibly fast cars and put everything on the line for the sake of competition. Drivers who know that one slip-up can lead to disaster. And for the longest time, wishing to be a race car driver was just a childhood dream. All we could ever be was a spectator. Opportunities? Limited and expensive. Reserved only for the who's who of the racing world. Until now.
Welcome back to the 2019 three-wide All-Star Race, and of course, our guest commentators did a great job tonight. We want to thank those drivers for coming out. And now we're going to go for a 50-lap feature event for tonight, but tomorrow's race is the one that we're all going for the big bucks. But tonight, Finian, $30 to the winner if they give up their pole starting position for tomorrow. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a deal or no deal situation. So the winner of this race has the option to take the $30, but they would have to start last place in the feature, or they could decline the $30 and choose to start on pole. So they get a little bit of an option. I honestly really like that. So the winner has a choice: take money, take a detriment for tomorrow's race to try to win the $100 tomorrow. So a little bit of a choice here. It'll be interesting to see what they have to say. But for now, we got 14 drivers. Looks like we're missing one. But we got 14 drivers ready for 50 laps.
50 laps here at Southern National Motorsports Park. The pace car is going to pull off. It's going to leave Cameron Rich and Chuck Sweeting on that front row as we head to the starting lineup. We're starting green flag. Green flag flies. We're racing now. Cameron Rich leads down into turn number 1. Chuck Sweeting goes to second. There's Sam Close on the outside lane in the 5, trying to make his way forward. Behind him, there's a big fight behind Levi Zielinski. It's Dave Hunt and the 61 of Robert Hill Jr. They're side by side. Here comes the 14 of Kevin Finn. But up in front, there's Frankenfield on the inside of Close for 4th.
Yeah, Frankenfield trying to get along on the inside. And we've seen how dominant that inside lane is. Very hard to get up to speed on the top side. Close is going to have to find a lane to get into.
Johnny Thomas in the background. He's got Levi Zielinski to his inside now as Zielinski tries to move his way up into 7th.
Oh, Frankenfield sideways, caution out.
And he has spun it around. The 15 car spins on lap number 3. And let's see if we can find out what happened here. 15. There he is, way down the end. And to answer your question that you're probably asking already, Finney, is the lagging any better? The answer to that is no. So I'm not really sure what's going on, but here's a look again at the 15. Did he have some help? It looks like he might have.
Yeah, you got a bump from the 56 to take Lytle, and we've seen Lytle be pretty aggressive so far tonight. And it looks like he's stepping it up again, just made some contact with the 15 and sends him around.
And
no damage to the 15, though.
It's on pit road early in the going here. And I'm going to give my ticker stop one more restart. It seems to do better after you restart it, after it gets slow. So, again, I'm going to look into what's causing the lag in the ticker software tonight. I'm not really sure what's causing it. If I knew the answer to that, I would have fixed it by now. But, of course, software is free, and, of course, the people at ATVO do a pretty good job, but they can't always solve my issues when I need them solved. So we'll have to wait a day or two to get an answer to this. But heading back to the racetrack, Cameron Rich retains his lead so far. Sweeting second, Josh Adams third, Sam Close setting in fourth.
Yeah, these guys just pacing around here, getting through these laps. And again, we also should mention, too, we're going to have a halfway break completing lap 25. So a halfway caution will slow the pace of this race down yet again. So it's a very, very sprint-oriented here, really reliant on the short runs and getting yourself in position. Again, none of the order does matter for this. This is setting the grid order for the main event tomorrow, but pace car is going to be back in, and green flag out and away.
And a great restart for the 17 as Rich clears himself. Meanwhile, behind them, the Sweden car has Josh Adams to his inside. Now it's the 56 and 5 behind them, and the 6 and the 83T behind him.
Yeah, and Johnny Thomas, we've seen him have quite a bit of speed, although he's a little bit further back in the pack probably than he would like, but he's going to try to look up the inside of Sam Close. Can't get it done.
Still side by side with Zielinski as Chuck Sweeting and Tate Lytle fight just up the road. Lytle is going to complete that pass now. Sam Close wants to get to the inside of Sweeting. Sweeting scrapes the fences. There's a bobble behind with Johnny Thomas, 14, Kevin Finn, and others stuck in that traffic jam.
Yeah, Thomas got a bit of the apron that sent him loose. Zielinski's able to get around. Here comes Kevin Finn trying to pull the same move on the outside. I think the 83 is back up to speed. He's going to clear that spot.
And Chad Frankenfield back up to 10th after restarting dead last, trying to claw back the positions he got taken away by the 56 of Lytle, maybe out for blood here before the race tomorrow night. Oh, the 15's loose again, and he's spinning again off of turn 2. Caution.
The exact same place as well.
And let's see this time what happened. Was there contact potentially with the 18 of Paul Ross?
Yeah, my screen there is. Looked like it was a bit of netcode though.
Yeah, you're right about that. Looks like some netcode between me and the 18. The 15's kind of been the ball. Everyone else has been the bat so far between these two.
Yeah, no, I mean, fortunately though for Frankenville, he's got pretty much no damage. I mean, maybe some slight damage to his rear, but it's not showing on my screen. So, other than getting looped 2 times around, I think that car's in a good shape. Although I can't imagine how he's doing in the car, being hit twice from behind. I think he's going to be tired of being used up, as we're not even halfway through this race twice. So we'll see how that 15. And he actually did a pretty good job making up quite a few spots, but he's going to have to do all that again back from 14th.
Johnny Thomas and Robert Hill Jr. also takers on pit lane as the pace car rolls around. And of course, Cameron Rich led every single lap of his heat race and has led every single lap in this race so far. That 17 is going to be pretty hard to beat, Vinny. And who do you think can launch the fight to him? I'm looking squarely maybe at that 5 or at that 56. But they're going to have to get around Josh Adams first.
Yeah, even maybe I might try to look at Levi Zielinski. He's been a little bit ways back. He started in 8th and is up into 5th. So he's moved up quite a few spots since the start, and we're only also going to get a very short run to lap 25, about 10 or less than 10 laps. So we'll see what Zielinski do if he can gain a few more spots before that halfway break.
It'll be a 9-lap sprint to the halfway point of this race, where a caution will be thrown. We'll re-rack him, restack him, go for another 25 laps. If you don't include the caution that we're about to get in 8 laps, this race would finish in 8 minutes. Pretty short amount of time as pace car pulls off. Green flag back in the air.
Indeed, Cameron Rich with a fantastic start. Here comes Tate Lytle trying to clear the inside lane of the 95 of Josh Adams, and he does exactly that. Adams moves into 3rd. Zielinski trying to get 4th.
And there's Paul Ross skirting his way back up into 6th and trying to get a top 5 spot. He's going to have to fight the 5 car just on front and to his outside. Meanwhile, in the background, Chad Frankfield has been involved in both cautions so far. This is passed around the 26 of Chuck Sweeting. How did Chuck Sweeting get all the way back here? Did he start back here?
He came to pits.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so he came into the pits. I think only got right side tires. You really can't be in the pits for too long, considering how long it takes to service these cars and how short the pace lap is. So I think he only got the right side tires. Trying to get a tire advantage here early on, but up in the front, it's Cameron Rich, Lytle, Adams, your top 3.
Dave Hunt and the 14 of Kevin Finn got together for a moment, racing each other for what is currently the 7th spot. Meanwhile, it looks like the 15 has some pretty severe right side damage. I don't think that's been there the whole race.
Oh, that's recent. That's definitely recent. I think he had some contact with the wall, it would seem like, but he's trying to... Oh, he's getting very close to that wall indeed, and almost make some contact with Johnny Thomas. Thomas gets on by. Frankville back to the inside of the 83.
These guys all fighting for what will eventually be the 10th spot. Jonathan Cogswell, who was in the transfer position and moved on in heat number 1, is running right in front of these guys as the 83T and the 15 get close. Thomas up scrapes the wall out of turn 2.
Yeah, and Thomas is now kind of put out there, and it looks like he's going to fall in behind Chuck Sweeting. Sweeting, remember, coming into pit road. It looks like it's entirely paying out for him at the moment, as we're on lap 24 and coming to 25 now. 1 lap to go here before the halfway break.
Cameron Rich is just out in front by 1.1 seconds. He's been flawless so far. There is the caution flag for the halfway point of the race. Give these drivers an opportunity to come get service and try again for that last half of the race. We know the 15 wants to turn things around and do the last half a little bit differently than he did the first half.
And I'm seeing some pretty heavy damage to the right side of the 6 car of Levi Zielinski.
Let me take a look here. It looks...
It happened a while ago.
Yeah, that is some pretty heavy damage. I didn't see what happened.
Oh. So, I think this is when Frankenfield spun. Zielinski got into Chuck Sweeting and sent Sweeting for a half spin.
Interesting.
Yeah, this is around lap 13, so this is quite a while ago. So that's where the 6 got his damage from, and I think that's also why Sweeting pit.
So, I expected the pits to be open that time. Maybe they weren't quite yet, but I would think you'd want to pit for tires, no?
I don't know. You might want to. Honestly, I would say stay out there just for the track position. I don't think, especially because we've had quite a few cautions that slow down the pace. These guys haven't run too many laps on these tires, and I don't think it's entirely worth the track position. And remember, again, each position is valuable here. This is going to be setting the starting order for the actual All-Star race tomorrow night.
Again, tomorrow night's race, they're going for a triple digit in prize money. Tonight, $30 on the line, and if you finish the race in first, you have a choice of taking $30 and starting last tomorrow, or refusing the $30 and starting on pole tomorrow. Again, starting on pole, which puts you in position to win the 100, but it doesn't guarantee you the 100. And for a lot of drivers, I would just take the 30. I don't know about you, Thayan.
Oh no, I'd absolutely take $30. I mean, $30 is not that small of a payout. It's a pretty decent payout, especially for an iRacing race. You know, there's not that many payouts in general, and to get $30 straight off the bat, and even a chance to win $100 the next night, I think that's a pretty good opportunity to win $130. So we'll see what that driver will do. Currently, it's looking like the 17 of Cameron Rich, but does the 56 or the 95 have anything to answer him with?
Cameron Rich in the 17. He's going to restart this race. He's led every single lap so far. Green flag drops again with 20 laps to go. And already the 5 of Sam Close putting pressure on the inside of Josh Adams. Wasn't able to get to the inside, but here comes Ross to the outside lane. Newslinski slams the wall out of turn 2.
Yeah, hard contact. Oh, some more contact between the 18 and the 6. That sends him way out. 3 wide here in the middle of the pack.
Ooh, Dave Hunt drove in deep. The 27 gets stacked up, so does the 61 and the 15. Nick Miller drives around all of them. Cool, there goes the 53. Dave Hunt hard in the fence.
Oh, yeah, hard impact for Dave Hunt. Caution is out.
That was bound to happen. That was a wreck that was about 3 laps in the making. Here is a look at how this started. There's the 9 car that kind of drove straight in the fence, bounced off and drilled the 53. And the 61 got a piece of it as well, as did the 15 of Frankenfield, but minor.
Yeah, so 53 should be able to continue on, although probably will hurt quite a bit from that impact.
That was a pretty heavy hit.
Yeah, it looks like Chuck Sweeting, he was actually a lap down. He just now unlaps himself, so he gets put back on the lead lap with everyone else. So all 14 guys still out there running and kicking. But Cameron Rich is currently the one leading them all. And I imagine he's probably definitely enjoying these short runs with the cautions, because the cautions take quite a while compared to most other tracks. So you just got to run a lot of laps under caution and don't really have to worry about getting passes. You're pretty much behind the pace car, so you just kind of relax for a bit.
We're going to have under 15 to go when we get the green flag again, and the intensity was already high in that previous restart. I expect it to be more of the same. Caution laps only take about 29 seconds here, which is less than a green flag lap last night at Las Vegas in the Outsider Racing League Series, who had, by the way, a spectacular race, and I think it was the best racing we've ever seen at Las Vegas. It was a 165-lap race. They went completely green from start to finish and had a spectacular battle until the end.
Yeah, it was pretty much what happened between Larson and Bowman today at the end of the race, but for 80 laps. 80 laps of it. So, yeah, that was a hell of a race that those guys put on last night.
Also, congratulations, Bowman fans. I was very doubtful that Bowman would ever win a race with the way his season has been going, finishing second to everybody all the time, but today I got his first victory, spoilers. But honestly, if you're a NASCAR fan, you should watch the race. That's my opinion. And I said it. All right, field rolling through turns 3 and 4. Be 13 laps to go, and Cameron Rich fires up the engine and takes off.
Oh, and we see Adams and Lytle make some slight contact as they come out of turn 4, and here comes Lytle trying to clear off of 2. Can't get it done. Here comes Adams with a big run. Kevin Finn trying to also get to the inside of the 56.
Race taking down very quickly. Big battle behind him, led by Nick Miller in the 9, the 61, and the 15. Tied up behind Framefield, scrapes the wall. Back up for a while. Look at this fight. Miller gets turned. He spins, and the 83 collects him. They're just a cluster in the background. And hard hit for the 9.
Yeah, and there's a caution. I was curious if he's going to be able to save it, but that him and the 83 were hooked for that entire straightaway, and the 9 just went hard into the wall. That might be race over for Nick Miller.
There's another look. They just could not get off of each other. And hard into the inside concrete wall for those two drivers. We'll do one more ticker reload here before we get into the final moments of this race. Of course, Cameron Rich has led every single lap of this race. I think he's probably going to be the one to get to decide what he wants to do with the money at the end of this one, Finian.
Yeah, I was just say it's looking like it. I'm pretty sure just has led every single lap of this race. And we're coming up here to what I think should be our final restart.
Yes, it will. No green-white checkers in this series, and probably for an event like this.
Actually,
are we running green-white checkers tonight?
Yeah, I believe we are.
Oh, okay. So there's a change there.
I believe it's one green-white checker at a time. Let me double check on that.
Okay. Well, so a rule change tonight to allow green-white checkers, which I agree. Yep, limited, which is down to one green-white checker, which is definitely a good thing because you toss money in drivers' faces and ask them not to kill each other. I don't think that's going to work very well.
Yeah, I don't know. That definitely won't. So we're going to get one attempt, and one attempt only at the green-white checkered here tonight. So if something does happen, and I think something might definitely happen here as we're coming to the end of this race, we're going to get another shot to get going again.
6 laps will conclude tonight's All-Star Qualifier for tomorrow's feature event, where the drivers will be going for $100. Tonight it's for $30. And you're going to have to choose between taking the 30 and starting last, or leaving it and starting first. Green flag back in the air, 6 to go.
Yeah, indeed, and Cameron Ridge off to a fantastic start yet again. Here comes Kevin Finn. Ooh, Lytle spun around. Caution back in the air.
And Sweeting just missed that. Nick Miller just came to a complete stop. And caution comes out again. This will not be a green-white checker. Here's a look from another angle.
Oh, man, that was some massive netcode. Wow.
A slightly better look at that. That wasn't very useful. Oh yeah, that was about 3 feet worth there.
Yeah. Yeah, so technically he made contact with the 5, although... Unfortunate incident there. That probably shouldn't have happened. Nothing at fault with the drivers. They left each other room, but the server thought otherwise.
All right, so we're gonna get pretty close. Actually, this might actually be a green-white checker thing with how long these cautions are at this racetrack. Looks like it will be. These cautions take way too long at this racetrack for being a short track. They should be like 3 laps, but they end up being like 6.
Yeah, I'm actually. Yeah, again, me and you and me are both surprised of how long this is.
They're not long like time-wise, but they're more laps than they really probably should be.
Yeah, they take off quite a few laps here.
And this will probably be our. And also, don't forget that, at least not yet. Oh, wait, there's the 1 degree in there.
Yep, and the session has been extended to a green-white checker. So this is going to be our one and only attempt here. If the caution comes out before the guys hit the white.
So a quick.
Oh, sorry, we have three scheduled for this. Sorry.
Okay. A quick reminder that the ATVO does not handle green-white checkers yet, so I'll be controlling flags manually. We have 2 laps to go. Not 1, but 2 laps to go.
Yep, and here they come through turn 1. Looks like they're all through for now. Kevin Finn's going to sort himself into 2nd. Now Joshua Adams into 3rd. Chaos behind.
Oh, the 61 gets a punt from the 15. They're going to make it to the white flag now. And they're all crashing behind. A big mess out of turn 4. Several cars wrecked. The 83, the 26, the 53, in the middle of the racetrack. Here comes Cameron Rich down to the final corner. Who's going to get there first? The 17 of Rich comes out of the final corner. He wins the race. Finn, Adams, close. Robert Hill Jr., your top 5.
Yeah, the great race there at the end. I was actually hoping that they would be able to get clear before the leaders came back to the start-finish line. And man, Cameron Rich, he's got some fantastic speed in this car.
He sure does, and he's been fantastic speed in every race that he's run this season, even the ones where he had some bad luck like Watkins Glen, but victorious here tonight, no surprise to anybody. And the 15 spinning the 61 in the background, those two having issues. I think there's some drivers that are a bit upset with each other, and Cameron Rich pulling into the pit lane and concludes his evening. And that was some aggressive racing we saw in the background. The 15 certainly upset with somebody. And I think it was the 61 of Robert Hill Jr. Here's a look at what happened post-race. 15 taking the 61 out. And I want to see what led to this situation. This must have been long before.
Yeah, no, that wasn't that. Nothing happened between them on the last restarts. I'm kind of curious if this is maybe something lingering between them.
I don't know, but either way, those two drivers didn't look like they were thrilled with each other.
Oh, actually, I did find it. So 61 got loose off a corner, threw a block on the 15, and I don't think Frankenfield was too happy about that move.
What lap was that on, if you don't mind?
Lap 50.
Oh, perfect. Okay, let's find it. Let's go take a look at it. So you said that the 61 threw a block. I think we'll be the judge
on
of
back
that.
straightaway.
Back straight on back 50. Here we are. Ah, yes. There's the block. So that's what led to that whole situation. But here's one more quick look at your race results as we gear up for the race interviews tonight. A pretty wild one here. I guess no surprise to anybody that this would be kind of wild when you throw money on the line. But Cameron Rich, we have to talk to him and see what his decision's going to be regarding the money and the positioning for tomorrow night's race. We'll be back in just a moment. Stay with us for the interviews.
All right, we're back here with our third place finisher, Joshua Adams. And Josh, we saw that you were in the front there for a good amount of the ending of that race. Started in third and finished in third. You know, what was your strategy throughout all that race? Was it just kind of survive, or were you trying to go for the win there?
Trying to go for the win, but I think Cam kind of had everybody covered. But really, the strategy is just trying to stay on the bottom for those restarts. You get caught on the top, you're kind of probably going to go backwards. So just try to get on the bottom and get the best restarts I could.
Yeah, I was going to say, we saw that we had quite a few cautions in this race, especially compared to the heats, which were relatively clean by comparison. So, yeah, were you just kind of hoping to get as many spots as possible on the restart, maybe even try to get Cameron Rich on the restart, or did you think you had some long-run pace you could try to beat him on?
Maybe long-run pace. We'll see for tomorrow. I don't think I could have beat him on such a short run without like contact, but I think that's probably how everybody would have had to.
All right, and that was our third place finisher, Joshua Adams in the 95. Josh, we'll see you tomorrow. Good luck in tomorrow's event. All right, and here we got second place finisher Kevin Finn in the 14. And Kevin, you started in 11th, you finished in second. How about that? That was a really good climb forward. And you actually look like you might have had something there for Cameron Rich in the end. Just kind of walk us through what was your thought process, especially in those final few restarts.
Yeah, just me and Cam are kind of working on restarts since we're both teammates. And coming up from 11th, there's quite a few cautions to get through. So really getting on the inside is really key. It's hard to pass from the outside. You can hold your lane, but you're going to bring stuff up. Basically, just play the cautions as is. That's really how it was tonight.
Yeah, and we saw that you started quite a bit back in the field. Was your strategy just to kind of bide your time, just kind of wait out the cautions and just survive, or were you planning on charging to the front as quickly as possible?
A little of both. I was kind of taking it easy the first maybe 15 laps, and by then I realized I got to go. So tried to make my way through the field and got lucky with the cautions.
All right, and that was Kevin Finn, our second place finisher. Kevin, great job tonight. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Cameron Rich, our race winner. And Cameron, you won your heat, and you won the feature race for tonight, the Trophy Dash. That was an excellent effort you put on there, and if I'm not mistaken, you led every single lap in this race. You know, we saw that for the most part, almost no one could touch you once you got going on the restart. Did you think that you had any long run pace to hold off everyone? Should we have gone that long?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty. The super late model is a car that I've driven a lot, and this track is something I used to. When I used to do official racing with this car, it was one of the tracks that I did a lot, and I kind of figured out how to drive it. So I was pretty confident going into the night for both races.
All right, and since you're the winner of this race, you got a decision here. So you got the choice: are you going to take the $30 and start in last on tomorrow night's event, or are you going to decline it and you're going to start on pole? What's your choice, or if you have one already?
Yeah, my account expires in like 3 days, so I need some money to re-up it. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that $30 and just put myself in the back.
All right, well, you heard his decision there. So Cameron Rich, you'll take the money now, and he's going to be starting from the back tomorrow night. And this is going to be fun to watch you charging to the front, because I honestly think you got the strongest car there. So from starting in the back, I'm going to wish you all the luck for tomorrow night's event. Cameron, thanks for talking with us.
Appreciate it, guys. Yeah, it'll be a fun one to watch.
All right, so that was Camel Rich, and Finian, thanks for doing those for me, just to keep me from forming totally incoherent sentences, as I am completely fried. So, of course, I'm just going to address the elephant in the room, the graphics issues and technical issues I'm going to look into for tomorrow night, of course, get those all sorted out. Of course, not much I could do to fix them tonight. I have a hunch that it's track-related, so I think there's something I can do to try to fix that. I'll take a look, but... Of course, Finian, tonight's racing, all sorts of cool action. Looks like it's pretty difficult to pass, though. It looks like you need to use the bumpers. I think we'll see more tomorrow when there's more on the line.
Yeah, indeed. And tomorrow night, we're going to have two events tomorrow night. We're going to start with the last chance qualifier first. And that's going to be for all the guys who didn't make it through the heats. They're going to have one last shot to get into the main show. We're also going to find out who won the fan vote, which, again, you can vote down. Links in the description below for your favorite driver. You can vote them into the show if they did not make it through any of the other races. And then we're going to have our 125-lap all-star race tomorrow night as our main event. And I think it's going to be a great one.
So that's what's coming up tomorrow night at the normal 3-Wide Racing League time. And then on Tuesday, Grid Life returns. I believe, are they off this week? I don't actually remember if they're off. I have no idea.
You know where they're
Grid Life might be on Tuesday. We don't know. But if it is, it'll be 8:30 p.m. And you do not want to miss those races, off-road trucks at on-road courses. It's going to be a lot of fun. But 3-Wide All-Star race tomorrow for $100. We'll see you there.